Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Joel Lacayo, and I have here today with us Jhonatan Aldama, CPA from Contabi Alliance. How are you, Jonathan?
Great, great. Good to be here. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. So thank you for spending some time with us. So those of you that are joining in today, so you guys are aware, I am the president of Contabi Alliance, and our focus for today is continuing on our series, which is Cuéntame por Contabi, in which we interview and get to know every single one of our members to really understand where they came from, what they're doing, and also what they see as the future of the industry and how it's going to impact us all in general. So we're pretty excited about being able to do this. A few household chores to kind of take care of on this live. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about Contabi and enjoy the content that we do have a lot of things that you guys can visit. You are feel free to visit our website. That'll tell you everything that we are doing on contabialliance.com. Visit us today so that you can get some information about another and other amazing accounting professionals that are international. We're serving over 11 countries right now with membership just growing each and every day. And we're excited to continue to bring resources and benefits and just general conversations about how we as Latinos can continue to build out a platform for ourselves. And the way to do that is really getting to know us, right? I think getting to know each one of us is going to be very, very important. So I'm excited to learn more about Jhonatan. And for those of you that you don't know, you're not only going to get accounting and industry specifics, we're even going to talk about food, which is one of my favorite topics. So this is going to be a great way to start. So Jhonatan, welcome again. I'd love for you to start and let us know about all the different like businesses that you own or you co-own and kind of started with right now.
Yeah. So I come from my mom has her own company. My dad has his own company. So it's kind of in the blood. It always was my goal to have an own company. And you mentioned the food because of the Quesos Tacos, the restaurant that I have. That was kind of an opportunity that came to me. Never thought I would be in the restaurant industry, but an opportunity came up for me, my dad, and uncle to invest in a restaurant. Things were going well, and then I decided to take over that and really dive into entrepreneurship and get to learn about business. Uh, so that was one of my main things that I've been focusing on the past few years. And then slowly from that, I got into a maid service company, started doing taxes, being a CPA. I graduated with a master's and bachelor's in accounting, got my CPA. So started getting into taxes, and then I got to know a lot of different uh, business owners that needed business taxes, just advice on accounting, and then I launched Aldama CPA as another business, and then I'm here about a week away from launching our new virtual accounting firm that is going to be focused solely on serving entrepreneurs virtually through online across the U.S. and hopefully across the world, just to kind of give them more accessibility to tools, knowledge, information that I have kind of developed, a methodology across from having the hands-on entrepreneur experience and learning from interacting with clients through my businesses and then consulting and then hopefully bringing it all together to really serve the community.
Wow. So what you're telling me is that you're pretty much dedicating 60 hours per day to run all these different businesses at the same time. How are you doing that right now, man?
Not to brag, but I think I'm really good at time management and setting like, okay, this day for these hours I'm doing this business. This day for these hours I'm doing this business. And I'm a very process oriented person. So, for example, at the restaurant, I have managers, GM that operate that. Same at the maid service, I have a partner that operates it. I'm very get in there, create a process, and then bring in the people to operate that process. Uh, so I'm good at managing where I need to be, where I need to invest. And then right now I'm really investing into the new accounting platform called Nuve, and that's where my time has been going into mostly the past couple of months, pretty much getting that established and getting ready to launch. But yeah, it's a lot
Oh,
of just time management and setting on my calendar. That's what I spend a lot of
okay.
time on.
Okay. So you just mentioned something. You said you're launching a new accounting platform called Nuve. Is that the virtual accounting? like firm
Correct.
that you were talking about? Okay, cool. I was
Yes.
like, you have a new platform. This is
No, no,
like
no. Sorry.
groundbreaking
Yeah,
news.
yeah. I wish, but no, no. Yeah, that's the virtual accounting firm. Not a platform per se. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that one's
Nice.
it.
So let's peel back because you obviously didn't come from college or schooling, and then all of a sudden you just bam, you established 3 or 4 businesses all at once. It's a process to kind of get there. Can you talk a little bit about like your origins? Like where did you come from? Where is your family from? Like where culturally do you identify with?
Yep. So both my parents, they're from Mexico, and that's where I was born as well, from the state of Mexico. I was only there until I was about 4, until they came to the U.S. and they came here. They had a few jobs, and then they started their businesses. So that's where I kind of like started seeing entrepreneurship from like the age of 10. Uh, and I'm originally from Austin, Texas. I've been here pretty much all my life. The only time I left was to go to college to Texas A&M, and that's where I studied accounting and had a minor in entrepreneurship. So I got to learn a little bit more on the book side of entrepreneurship as well. Uh, and then when it came to actually starting my businesses, yeah, it wasn't like a hey, let's start 3 at once kind of thing. I started with the restaurant. That was the first one, and like I said, it was not kind of an opportunity that came to me, and I started off as a partner, and there was very little time at the beginning because it was operating by the other partners. But then I slowly fell in love with the restaurant industry and honestly just being an entrepreneur. So I quit my day job because out of college I went into public accounting. I worked for Protivity uh, here in the U.S. out of Houston, Texas for a little bit. But I just decided to make that jump pretty much a year after college to run the restaurant full time, and that was really my first one. And I think on there I had that one for about 2 years before I launched uh, Aldama CPA, which was taxes and consulting. And then the next one was a maid service, and that was with a partner who operates it. I was kind of more an advisor, so not so hands on there. But yeah, it was definitely a slow course, and it's just adapting. And I'm one of those people that likes to have a new project going on, so that's kind of I keep going to the next one and the next one.
Yeah. Keep yourself busy, right?
Exactly, yeah. I
Well, I
think
mean,
entrepreneurship is a hobby for me. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think everybody just is born with like an entrepreneurial like process to kind of follow. And I don't believe that everybody like there are the few that kind of go through school like, you know what, I kind of like accounting. I'm gonna go into accounting and kind of study accounting and then get their master's, then go through the CPA and then go through all that stuff. Like, do you remember maybe an activity or a person or a line of work or something just clicked in your mind and just said, you know what, like this is really an industry that I feel like I can really grow into? Like, what was that for you when you were younger?
So honestly, I always knew I wanted to I knew I wanted to go to college. I mean, my parents coming into the country to give me a better life and opportunities. So it was always like, you gotta go to college. So that was always the goal. And then I got to college, and I was there, and I was like, I don't know what I want to study. I just know I want to do something businessy. So I just went into the school of business. And honestly, it was my first accounting class. I believe it was my sophomore year. Uh, where it was one of the harder ones. It's kind of a weed out class where they make it hard to get people out of accounting that aren't meant to be there. And I really enjoyed it. It was just the concept of accounting, how everything just, it's like math. Everything makes sense if you see kind of the big picture. And I just like how it was a big puzzle. And that's where I really enjoyed accounting. And I signed up for the 5 year master's program. I just enjoyed it along the way. And then when I got into entrepreneurship, that kind of passion grew more for it because I understood the numbers besides just, oh, here's my P&L, here's my cost of goods sold, here's my expenses. It was like, okay, what affects that? What's the reason? So I enjoy that it's a puzzle. It's a moving puzzle that you can adapt and see backwards and see future. So that's what I really enjoyed about accounting and kind of what got me to that.
Nice. And I've heard that a lot from a lot of our members that it's kind of like when you meet your partner, right? In life,
Mm.
like when you meet them, you just know, like you know that they're your like your puzzle piece, like you're right there in that jigsaw kind of mold. And entrepreneurial like endeavors are similar way. you just kind of start something and then you just know that it's meant for you in terms of continuing to build out. So that's pretty awesome to kind of know. Talk to me a little bit about what drives you. Like, what is something that continues to propel you to like the next project that really motivates you to continue to be successful and gain success as you keep going?
Yeah, so I think in entrepreneurship, and then what's led me to launch Nuve, the new accounting firm, is I just enjoy building a company and then the effect it has on not just myself, but the team, the people, employees, the community. That's what really drives me. Going back to the restaurant, I mean, we started off with 2 employees and then the owners, and then slowly grew to a staff of about 20. We had multiple locations at one point, and just knowing that you're giving people a living, they're proud to grow within the organization. From right now, I think so. Actually, my GM right now at the restaurant, he started out as a cook from day one that we opened the restaurant, and now he's the GM, and he even does more than GM. He does a lot of operations for us too. So I enjoy seeing that the people, the progression, and then going into the accounting side, seeing that for other people as well, coming in as a service for a client and consulting them and seeing them grow from a small company and them reaching their goals and seeing their impact in the community and what they can succeed in. So it's a community and the people that really, I think, what drives me to build my companies and then also assist others in creating their companies and progressing their team and their individuals within.
That's awesome. I think that kind of like leadership that you're expressing that you appreciate really, really is something that helps you grow. And I feel like it must be a challenge for you because you have a problem that I think that I've only seen in a few people around my lifetime. And it starts with like Arthur, that we both mutually know, that you guys look like you're 12 years old when you're really like late 20s and early 30s. So I'm sure people look at you and they already assume like, no sabes.
Yeah.
No tienes
Yeah.
experiencia.
Yeah.
How are you a CPA? Like, where did you get that title from? Like, because you look like you're very young to do that. So how have you battled, or how have you like confronted, or how have you experienced that as you kind of grown and build businesses and hire
Yeah.
people, right? How do you deal with that? Like looking like you're like so young, knowing that you've been so accomplished up until this point.
Yeah, that I definitely have faced that, and I don't grow much facial hair, so I can't do that to look older either. So that doesn't help. But yeah, I've always looked young, and I mean, when I started my first business, I think the restaurant, I was 20 at that point, and pretty much everyone we ever hired there was older than me at that point. So they see me as like, oh, how is this guy that is coming in and going to operate a restaurant going to tell us what to do when we've worked at restaurants? So I think it's definitely one of those things where until you got to prove yourself by the actions that you take, decisions you make, and they see that and they're like, oh, wow, he knows what he's doing. Of course, also having a master's and a bachelor's and a CPA, just those titles behind you are another kind of step that helps. And then also just about confidence, going in and deciding what needs to be done and knowing why and being confident with your team. With me serving clients as well, going into the office, be like, hey, I know this is the reason. And then as I'm moving into Nuve and creating that solution, other clients can see, okay, he's not just another accountant that's going to tell me what to do. He's actually done it. He's built successful companies. He's built successful accounting systems for his companies. And so it's the track record also that I'm trying to build, but they don't have to say, okay, he's 29, so he can't really know that much.
Are you 29 though? I think we're gonna have to check on that for you. I don't know about that.
I'll get my ID
I
out.
mean, it's rare to find young professionals, even under 30, that have already accomplished what you've accomplished, especially with the CPA designation, right? Some don't even deal with the CPA. Some maybe have their EA. Some have just built an accounting and bookkeeping practice from like scratch, which is amazing in it itself. What do you think has been like, you know, one of the blessings or some of the blessings that have come from you actually obtaining a CPA and what those credentials actually mean for you? And how do you think, or what would you recommend for young professionals out there that are probably studying and they're going to get out, even with their master's? The master's is impressive in general, but why would you go even further and get that credentialed CPA? Like, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think it's honestly also knowing what your goals. So I'm very the same way I approach a business, I approach myself. I create my goals and where I see myself and where I want to go. And I knew I wanted to be the best at something, and then sometimes for that you need those credentials behind you. So if you're going to be the best bookkeeper, then you don't need a CPA because you don't need to do the taxes. You can be a fantastic bookkeeper and get your EA and just focus on that. So it's knowing what your kind of end game is, or your goal is, and then seeing what it takes to get to that without being distracted with the CPA if it's not the right track. If you do want to follow that track, then getting those credentials. There's so many credentials for accounts that they can get. Uh, but it's just based on what your niche is. Like if you're doing internal controls, that you might get a CIA, different things. So I think it's just knowing what your focus is going to be, and I think also that makes you more valuable. If you're an amazing bookkeeper, you don't need a CPA. You just need your credentials as a bookkeeper and have your track record on that, and just be a good bookkeeper. And that can be the same for each type of accountant that you are or service that you provide. Just seeing what is best for your focus.
And so I'm sure that it took a tribe to kind of get you there, right? I think everybody can't do it on their own or by themselves to succeed and to continue to progress, or even at times face obstacles and challenges. Can you talk about some of the people or maybe some of the resources or networks that have helped you get where you are, and kind of leading you to the point of, what brought you over to a Contabi to become a member with Contabi, like kind of that progression of what you've been able to achieve?
Yeah. So what I've seen through my career, entrepreneur, accountant, even in college, is having mentors is immense. It's honestly that's the one thing I recommend to anyone and anything is find mentors in that industry to guide you, uh, to give you advice, to let you know, hey, don't do this because we failed. Uh, to avoid those hiccups, avoid the year months of delays, and I think that's what's helped, and that's one thing that got me to Contabi actually. When I decided to launch Nuve, and it wasn't even called Nuve yet. It was okay. I want to do a virtual accounting firm. I attended this seminar from people starting to do it, and I reached out to Jose. So I was always part of Contabi, and he kind of started giving me advice. We had a few calls of like, this is what'll help. This is what you should focus on. This is what's felt for me. And then he led me to Contavi, and then I met Arthur and got to know about it, and it seemed like a great organization. So getting mentorships, and then also on the organization that you mentioned, definitely getting involved in what you are focusing on. For example, me, I went to Texas A&M. We're very uh, network based from our college. So I attend any networks from A&M, the Aggie 100. So I think being involved in things that tie into your focus can help you network in getting sales, but then also in people that can assist you by being mentors. And I think that's definitely something very important uh, for people to take advantage is find mentors because I think everyone's willing to help. If they succeed, if they want to bring people with them and see that same thing happen to them. So that's definitely something I recommend.
Awesome. One of the core values of Contabi is to really create a platform and build out a community, but a platform within the accounting industry to highlight professionals like yourself so that they can have a lot more exposure with things that are out there. Like we're really, that's one of our missions to do that. I'm excited to hear about what you plan to do or what you feel would be a great next step for you and your firm and Nube. Like, what are some of the plans that you have for the future of Nuve and the work that you're doing within the accounting field?
Yeah. So I see things changing to need information now. Everything's like a now, kind of in the culture that we are. We need reports now. We need bookkeeping now. We need advising now. And everything's changing so quickly as well. So where I think the industry of accounts is definitely moving more into the advisory side of it. I think as we've all seen as accountants, is the main focus, and then that's also the need of uh, businesses, especially through this year that just happened with COVID. Uh, it's you can fail and succeed very quickly at certain times like this where there's big change, and having your financial information and having the right advisors can help to assist you and help you even avoid failure and closing. Uh, so with Nuve, we're trying to build. It's going to be an accounting firm, but a community and also a place where uh, we're invested in our clients, and we're going to call them partners. Not necessarily that we're going to invest in the company, but we see ourselves as being an integral part of them, and so we're focusing on their businesses, and then not only them learning from us, but us continuing to learn by every client. That way, we can assist other clients, and they can assist each other by having a community of our clients, and not just okay, we come in, we do service for you, the next one, the next one. It's more of a community uh, within.
Yeah, no, I think that strategy is awesome. Building out a virtual community so that they can kind of learn and teach each other in certain ways while you're there as a moderator and kind of like leading the charge with education and training and such. So I'm pretty excited to see how that continues going. I only hear a lot of good future like interviews going to be set up about how that community is going and how that's working out. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are probably thinking the same thing, right? They're so used to within the industry having a brick and mortar retail space location with three or four different desks and even cubicles at some time, and they look so nice, and that's like the way that they've always done it. But the world is changing, and in fact it's already changed, and it's been
Yeah.
changing for a while within the accounting industry, pushing and trying to modernize with technology and cloud services. Your business is not 30, 40 years old where it's kind of hard to do a transition. I would like to hear about how did you get involved in the beginning about learning about cloud technology within an accounting space. How did you even get started in that point? Because even in many colleges they're not teaching like the online versions of things. They're still
Yeah.
on spreadsheets, right? They're still on like
Yeah.
Excel. So what kind of got you started? Like where did you find out how to like use or implement cloud technology within your firm?
Yeah, so I think there's two parts of it. So I, through my entrepreneurship and my companies, uh, even though I'm a CPA, I still needed tools because I couldn't run all these payroll reports every 2 weeks that I ran payroll and submit all these payments. So I was already looking for these tools as being a business owner. Uh, and realizing that there are these tools and no one's really using them, or a few, maybe some tech companies that know about this stuff are using it, but not your local mom and pop restaurant and companies. So I was slowly learning about things like that. For example, Gusto, I learned about them early on when they first started operating, and it's a fantastic tool. And then QuickBooks, when they went online, I was one of the first to get on there as a business owner, just kind of seeing what really functions for a business owner. And then when it comes to the accounting firm, it was honestly during this Corona situation. Before, I was always going to clients' offices. Uh, I was doing advising. I would go have meetings in their office, and it was time consuming. But at that point, it was like you just assume that's the way it has to be done. But then Corona happened and we were shut down, and I started doing Zoom meetings, and it was just very productive and straight to the point. Didn't have to commute all the time. The clients were still getting value, and they even had more access to you because you could do a quick 15-minute Zoom call, fit it in without having to block off two windows to go to their office. So I think that helped see that, okay, this is a big need. The world is changing very quickly over this year, so we need to adapt quicker. Uh, and then I started building my tech deck on seeing what I already had and what all these great tools that I discovered myself over the past couple months as I was building Nuve that exists out there. So it's honestly just seeing what searching, because there's also different tools for everything, and it's just seeing how you're going to focus and what integrates together based on the tools you're going to specialize in. Uh, but yeah,
I
it's
think
been
that
a great month.
Yeah, man, I think how you've laid it out is really how the majority of businesses out there do it, right? They're kind of like something comes up or they heard it from somebody and they kind of
Yeah.
see the new thing. Or I think more creepily, like because AI is really expanding out in like Facebook and
Mhm.
LinkedIn and all that, you're getting these ads, or you just look at like businesses, all of a sudden like 10 different ads come up about like,
Yep.
hey, use this business tool, use that business tool, this is new. And those tend to help out as well. Um, like I one of the challenges that a lot of people have as they kind of continue to grow their business is about employing people, right? And just getting the
Mhm.
right people, especially when you're going from brick and mortar to now like a
Mhm.
virtual setting. How have you been able to manage that as you continue to really plan out your business model and get that going? Like, what are kind of certain things that you're looking into to make sure that Joel, that's going to probably be one of your applicants moving forward, that he's going to be a good fit for this model that you're trying to run, because it's not your typical like accounting firm.
Yeah. I think it's creating a system and process on onboarding, uh, and then having that communication, because like just right now we're doing this interview over a Zoom call, and like it seems like we're in front of each other and we're communicating. So it's integrating that into your staff as well, having a set onboarding process of like, this is where you're going to learn, this is where you're going to train, uh, these are your hours or expectations, maybe not hours specifically, especially if they're virtual. Uh, and then also keeping the culture, because culture I think is very important on a company. I think that's what defines those companies, is their people culture. So then implementing maybe every now and then a once a year a retreat or something like that, or just a happy hour over Zoom. So I think as long as you have that, those same things that people with brick and mortar offices have, but then applying it online is very important. I've seen lots of companies doing virtual happy hours, doing like little treats that they deliver, like tip treats to clients, or sorry, not clients, their employees. So I think having those same things that you apply in house, but then just finding how you can do it virtually and to staff that maybe not work in the same city is important, and that'll keep the culture and your people happy.
Makes perfect sense, right? Just again, it's just adapting as a
Yeah.
manager, as a leader as well, or as a business owner to the landscape as well. Now, this is the kind of section where I get to learn a little bit more about what makes you tick.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm gonna put you in a time machine, and then I'm gonna take you back to when you were, I don't know, let's say 12, 13 years old. Back when you were already in your CPA classes, starting out, right? uh, Going back there, Jonathan, what's the one or two things that you would tell young Jonathan, younger Jonathan,
Mhm.
you know what, you got to do this, not when you're 20, but when you're like
Yeah.
19, or when you're like 17, or not when you're 25, but when you're like 15. Like, what are one of those two things that to keep in mind, like if you can go back and help
Yeah.
yourself out, what would those be?
Good question. Trying. I think one thing for sure is not to be scared of making mistakes. I mean, yeah, I went into a job to kind of be like, okay, well, I got a college degree, so I got to have a regular job because like it just makes sense. Because I'm too scared to just jump and do something else. And I think that's very important, following your passions, because at the end of the day, I think anyone can make a good living at what they love if they find a way to monetize it. So
Mhm.
taking those risks and going for what you love, and it's okay to fail. Definitely. I mean, uh, I've had business ventures that have failed as the same. So, and it's okay. I've learned a lot from those failures as well. So I think that's key to help you even grow quicker, because the quicker you fail, the quicker you get to where you want to be, as opposed to dragging out those failures for a couple of years. Uh, and kind of wasting time. So I think that's the key thing. And then going back to a point I made before, is mentorships. Even from a young age, I think from even middle school and high school, it would be important to find those mentors that give you advice on like, hey, this is what you should study if you this is what you enjoy, this is what you should do, avoid this, avoid that. I think mentors, finding the right ones that are invested in you, can definitely help you skip a couple of years in failures or mistakes, or just goofing off for a couple of years. So I think that's definitely something else that I recommend.
Nice. So Talk to me about Jhonatan outside of like the business and firm owner. In that 2 minutes that you have free the entire day, besides you working time, what are you doing? Like what are your like hobbies? What are your passions outside of the professional realm?
uh, Trying to think what. There's not much time.
2 minutes, dude. Two
Like I said,
minutes.
I do.
That's plenty of time.
I sometimes when I'm at home, I'm like looking for, okay, what's another business I can start with, or where can I? Is there a business for sale somewhere? So I do that. But I do enjoy going to the movies with my wife a lot. Back in the day when there was movie theaters open, we would go to the movies pretty much like every weekend. Now it's more of a Netflix at home or on Amazon Prime. It's a big thing, and then sports as well. We're getting our first professional team here in Austin, Texas, soccer next year, and so I got my season tickets ready to go for that. So
Whoa.
I'm excited for that.
Okay, okay. So you got some soccer, and you have some like some time with your wife, right? Which is awesome. That's great. That's great. And you know, I'm getting into this industry, and I want to learn from you. Like, what are some good maybe publications or websites or people to follow? Like, I like this one too on like LinkedIn or Twitter. Who are some of the people that you kind of follow that kind of give you ideas or inspire you on the business front, or provide some like good takes for you to continue to improve?
Okay, that's a good question. I follow a lot, so I'm trying to. Only books are coming to my mind right now, but I'm trying to think of some people to follow. Huh.
Okay, keep thinking about that. Keep thinking like
Yeah, I'll
talk
think
about the
about that
books.
one.
Talk about the books. Like what
Yeah,
books
yeah. So
do you like?
there's a few great books. The Lean Startup. That's one of
Okay,
my
yeah.
favorite, just because I focus on that a lot in my companies. Uh, what is the Gregor? I'm trying to forget his book title. It's a the Successful Entrepreneur, I believe, is the title of it. Uh, but it's just key steps to avoid as entrepreneurship, and then 0 to 1 from the guy that started Twitter. That's another good one on. It's kind of the same thing on lean startups and how to keep things lean and grow your organization. I think those are the three ones that I've read lately. And then going back
Nice.
to the business owner, I think honestly, like following organizations like Contabi and then seeing what mentors are putting in, and even getting involved with. I recently joined Mark Wickersham. I don't know if you've heard of him. Uh, so I've joined his program, and even his community outside of his learnings, there's great stuff going on in there. So I definitely
Hmm.
recommend him to learn more on your accounting, packaging, and selling and stuff like that. Uh, Great spot to start at.
Nice. I'm going to recommend somebody that I appreciate on a global level.
Mm.
Actually, two females that are out there. One is Heather Smith. You might want to follow Heather Smith. She's pretty awesome in terms of all things accounting in a universal space. And also Mel Powers, so Melanie Powers. Two great people that just understand the operational flows, but more than anything are just really uber connected.
Mm.
A little plug to those two, but those are two global ones that come up to mind because what I hear from you is like it's about expanding and continuing to
Yeah,
grow. So it's not, especially when you're going virtual, you're not just going to stay in your local Austin community, right? To get clients,
exactly.
you're going to be expanding everywhere. And that's really what we focus our attention on with Contabi, being expansive, being able to be applicable in several countries, which I think is a really cool process to be able to have accountants and CPAs with their own designations out of Argentina, Venezuela, Peru, Canada. So, and ever you have people or businesses that are maybe expanding in those levels, you have resources within Contabi that can help you and work with you to get those clients really situated.
Definitely. Yeah, sounds. I know going across the U.S. and international. That's a great thing, and that's the mission for Nuve. And it's definitely going to be an
Nice.
uphill battle, but excited about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that the members that we have, like yourself, are really providing and contributing tons to this entire industry. So we're hoping to continue to showcase and what makes you shine as a star within this industry. So I'm really looking forward to many great things from you in the future within the industry that we can continue to highlight. Looking forward to maybe some blogs that you want to write, or even maybe some videos, tutorials on how to get started in the same way that you have, like how to not only just, say that you're going to go virtual and convert your firm, but hey, why not build a completely separate division that caters to the virtual sense that is Nuve nowadays? So I'm pretty pumped to kind of see your journey and how that's going to continue to go on. So some more goofy questions for you, just to kind of get to know you a little bit better. Favorite number?
Favorite number? Oh, wow. I'm going to go with 12. Yeah.
Nice. I was going to say, so everybody pay attention. That might be the pin to the card. So just 12 it is.
A couple numbers short, but.
The number of kids that you're planning to have?
I think 2 is going to be the goal. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
See, Arthur, that's another one for my team. You lose that one. He has 3 kids. We stopped at 2.
Yeah, I think 2 is a good amount. Yeah.
You are accurate in that assumption, sir. I really wanted to thank you for taking the time. And I think that this just gives us insight into you and who you are as a firm owner, because everybody is different, right? Everybody is unique in their own way. And we want to make sure that people and business owners can go anywhere to really get books done. Now, to get them done right, completely separate conversation.
Yeah,
but what I think is important is for that, for individuals and owners like yourself, including all of your employees, is for them to shine as human, as individuals. And I hope that we can continue to shine a light on you as a human, and what drives you, what brings you to this endeavor, and continues to help you grow. Because I really believe, and we really believe as Contabi, that that's what's going to help you excel and surpass any expectations that you have and expectations that people have for your business. So I'm pretty excited to have you on board. I'm super excited to see your growth within Contabi, and we're really looking forward to your contributions and everything that you do. So when you release the Nuve, we hope that you do it with us too. We'll do another one of these live streams so that we can share like the aspects, and you'll be able to share your screen and show Nuve to the international world. But thank you so much, Jhonatan, again for your time. And anything else, if you want to shout out your firm, or maybe like a website that they can get more information from, you could do that now.
Yeah. And first of all, thank you, and thank Contabi, great organization. I'm proud to be part of it, and same thing, wanting to contribute into it. And anyone else in the organization that wants to reach out to me that needs some advice or questions, or I'm sure I'll be reaching out to them too. So wide open whenever they want. And yeah, feel free to. So we haven't launched Nuve officially. I think we're going live in 14, so that's a week and a half away. But you'll be able to go to gonuve.co. And that'll be our website, so you can see my information on there, our email address, phone number. So feel free to give us a call, and look forward to meeting a lot more people from Contabi soon.
Beautiful. Thank you again, Jhonatan. And thank you everybody that was able to join us today. We are really looking forward to continuing to grow Contabi through this Cuentame series, where you get to know much more of our members and how they're actually being a part of this continuous work that we're providing to build a platform to help resonate and help shine all these Latino and Latina accounting professionals that are out there throughout the country. Thank you for joining us and listening through to Jhonatan Aldama, who from the start has been a member of Contabi and is looking to grow with us. Any other questions that you may have, we would love to host you. Join us at www.contabialliance.com, like you can see on the ticker on the bottom, so that we can discuss and learn more about your firm and help you grow along the way. Have a great